What's up, guys? So here we have a 2013 Kia Soul. I just want to give a kind of a definitive overview of how to replace your front disc brakes. This will apply essentially universally to all disc brakes. Might be some slight variations in how things are set up, but the overall premise will stay the same. So on a front disc brake job, now I'm assuming here we're going to be doing, as you can see, these brakes have already been done because we just did them, but I'm going to backtrack through and show you what we did to do the job, replacing rotors and pads. So first step is going to be to loosen up the two bolts you have holding on the caliper assembly. So it's already been done. Take your caliper off. Okay. Next step is going to be to remove the old pads that are in place. Okay. Next step is to check how well the caliper slide pins are operating. Here on these guys, they're working pretty good. If they feel a little tight, what you do is you just pop them out, take it out, wipe off the grease that's there, and put some new grease on there. And then just pop it right back in. That's it. Next step is going to be to take the caliper bracket off. Once you've taken the caliper bracket off, you're going to take a wire brush. Two ways to go about it. Primarily, you're going to remove the metal brackets and wire brush inside of there. Now, if you're reusing your metal plates, you'll do the same to the metal plate. You'll wire brush it, and then on both sides stick some of this lubricant where the brake pads go, like this. And you're going to do that on the bottom bracket and the top bracket, both sides. All right, now just so you guys know how this works, you know, as a universal rule for brakes, you want to clean and lubricate anything that needs to slide or move in place. So for instance, these caliper pins need to be able to slide in and out to allow the caliper to move in and out as you compress the brakes down. And same thing goes here. The brake pads are sliding on this bracket like this. Okay, and so we want to lubricate these metal slides because these brake pads need to be able to move in and out as they wear. So those are the contact points that need to be lubricated. Also, you want to be super careful while you're doing this that you don't get any of this Sil-Glide or brake slide lubricant onto the face of the brake pad, because that can damage the mating surface between the brake pad and the rotor. So you want to be super careful about keeping the brake pad face clean and the rotor face clean. All right. Now on most of these cars, they have a little screw. Okay, also another point here, while you're doing this job, you want to be aware of this flexible brake line. This line right here. Okay, if I take this right now and I drop it, this can pinch inside of here, and there's a little steel line inside of there that will collapse, and that'll cause the brake caliper to not retract, so the brakes will stay applied. and will burn the brake pads up real quick. So you want to be real careful moving this thing around. You always want to keep it supported. See the screw? On a lot of these, most of these cars, you're going to have these screws. On every car except for the Germans, the purpose of these screws is actually for manufacturing purposes. When the car goes through the assembly line, the machines, when they're working on them, need the rotor to be flat, and so that they, because without these screws in here, the rotor kind of just hangs at an angle. Whereas on the German cars, they don't use studs. The bolt is the stud. So if you don't have the screws, what happens is when you go to put the wheel on, the rotor can spin, and then the holes won't line up and it'll block the stud. So to get these screws off, you want to use one of these tools. This tool is not necessarily 100% necessary. Sometimes you can just use a regular screwdriver and just loosen it. Sometimes you can't because it's corroded in there. So you have to use this tool to loosen it up like that. And look, you see how the rotor kind of just dangles now at an angle? Yeah, the robots aren't very good at working with things like this. They need to be perfect, straight up and down. So, they have nice tools you can buy. I used to have the tools. I gave them all away. All you need is a C-clamp. Take an old brake pad, stick it right there on the inside of the piston. Stick your clamp like this. Okay. Close this clamp all the way. And then you just tighten it up. That's it. All right. And you'll see the piston will start moving in. And that's one more thing to pay attention to. If you're going to compress the piston and it is not going in, well, first make sure that it's not on the rear of the car and doesn't have something to do with the e-brake, because you might have to screw it in. But second of all, it also could be that the caliper itself is just corroded. So if there's any kind of resistance while you're trying to press this piston in, you're going to have to probably more than likely replace the caliper. Or if you know how to do it, you can just rebuild it. A lot of guys overlook lug nuts, all right? After you're done with your brake job, you put everything back together. Make sure either A, you're aware of the torque specs and you've been doing this long enough, you know what, let's say for this one, this is 80 foot-pounds. You know what 80 foot-pounds feels like. But if you're not, you want to make sure you're using your torque wrench and you're torquing it down to the proper spec, okay? The reason why that is because, a lot of guys, especially like, I'm not going to name names, but some of these local shops, when they over torque the lug nuts, what happens is it compresses down on the rotor. So what happens is if you over torque, let's say I use an air gun or I use a breaker bar and I don't know how tight it's supposed to be. If I over torque those lug nuts, it squeezes down, okay, on the face of this rotor, okay? When you over tighten the wheel down, that can cause, believe it or not, this metal to deflect. So you push down here on the face of this part of the rotor, and then it actually can cause this rotor to kind of bend a little bit. And that little bend will then cause vibration. So believe it or not, over tightening lug nuts can cause vibration and issues going down the road. So make sure you torque those lug nuts down to the proper spec. Thanks, guys. So don't forget, when you're done with your brake job, you've compressed the caliper piston in, okay? That causes a big gap in between the brake pads and the rotor. So if you don't pump the brake pedal, make sure you pump the brake pedal when you're done to get that caliper piston to be at the proper spec. Otherwise, what happens is, and a lot of guys learn this the hard way, if you don't pump the brake pedal, you start it up, you put it in reverse, you go to hit your brake, there's no brake pedal. And a lot of people freak out. What you want to do is you want to pump the brake pedal, but most people are too busy freaking out and the car drives off and ends up going into a wall. So make sure you pump the brake pedal when you're done with the brake job before you go and drive the car. All right, guys? Later.